Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 1IQ Sports Talk. Sterling here, coming at you with a Week 7 review of the Pittsburgh Steelers matchup against the New York Jets. This was the Pittsburgh Steelers' second primetime game of this season, and thankfully, this one went off without too much drama. There was no weather delays, there were no issues getting the game started. Much better flow to the game as a result with this Sunday nighter. It was not without drama, however, as early in the week, Mike Tomlin let everybody know that Russell Wilson was 100% healthy, ready to go, and would be taking first team reps with the practice throughout the week. Sort of, putting the message out there that Russell Wilson was likely to be the starter. And as the week progressed, it was announced that Russell Wilson would be taking the quarterback one spot away from Justin Fields, which created a lot of controversy around the NFL, as nobody has seen a team with a 4-2 record, a successful quarterback, 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, being benched for another quarterback. So that was a very interesting lead up to this game. And the fans let Mike Tomlin and Russell Wilson know early on, because this game, as always, was a slow burning start for the offense. And the fans, the Boo Birds, started coming out early in that first quarter as there were a couple of 3-and-outs. There wasn't a lot of success moving the ball. Russell Wilson was missing passes by a wide margin. But it was, pointed out and reminded people that Russell Wilson, other than a few snaps in the preseason, really had not played football at full speed in game since last December. And so some of those miscues were warranted and understandable when you really put that into perspective. But it's still disappointing to see this team start games so agonizingly slow, especially since the Jets were moving the ball well and able to score fairly early themselves. So Pittsburgh, unfortunately, they were only able to muster a couple of field goals through the first half as usual, which is really tough to handle. You got to keep pace with these teams with how little Pittsburgh has been scoring. Then there was a bit of a momentum shift in the second quarter. After the second Jets touchdown, Minkah Fitzpatrick got through the line on the extra point and blocked it, but was flagged on, honestly, a horrible leverage penalty where, every replay we looked at, even the announcers were looking at that going, that was not leverage. That shouldn't have been flagged. And even now, as we're getting into the midpoint of, between weeks, the NFL has come out and said that, yeah, that was a bad call. So that was a big momentum shift. It just really started getting the defense flowing. The offense still a little lackluster again, like I said, but right near the end of the second half is where things really started to shift for this Pittsburgh Steelers team this week. Minute and a half left to go. Beanie Bishop gets a huge interception, sets up Pittsburgh in New York territory, and allows them the opportunity and the momentum to drive down the field and score before halftime. That was a huge, huge momentum shift for this team. It was nice to see, Russell Wilson was getting a little more accurate. It was an 11-yard touchdown pass from Russell Wilson to George Pickens, which we haven't seen a lot of wide receiver touchdowns yet this year. So that was excellent to see. So as upsetting as it was to see the switch to Russ, it is nice seeing our wide receivers get some opportunities in the red zone and in the end zone. And so with that score right before halftime, that brought us to a halftime score with the Jets leading 15-13 at half. But I've said it before, we've seen it all season. This team is a second half team, this Pittsburgh Steelers team. And they came out in the second half and they shut the Jets down completely, as they've done to a lot of teams so far this season. At one point, the Jets looked like they were starting to get some momentum back. They did manage a drive down, but the Pittsburgh special teams, after having that extra point flagged, they said, we're getting this tonight. And they managed to block a field goal attempt by Greg Zuerlein, and the sideline just erupted when it happened. You know, it's so much excitement because this special teams unit has been so good this year, and having, getting flagged on things like that, it's frustrating. To be able to still go out there and block that next attempt, that was huge for this team. It was just wonderful to see. And then also in the second half, we saw Beanie Bishop also add another interception on Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, the second half, it was a story of offense, which isn't something that we talk about a lot with this Pittsburgh Steelers team in the last few seasons. They got rolling in the second half, and they were able to score 24 points in the second half alone. Russell Wilson, he'd throw for another touchdown, this time to Van Jefferson. He also was able to sneak it in on a quarterback sneak from the 1 yard line and get a touchdown, which surprised myself as well as a lot of people. I really thought that they would have some Justin Fields packages available for situations like that when they're inside the 5 yard line. Let Justin Fields do the sneaks, especially since in training camp when Russell Wilson first suffered that calf injury, it was from pushing a sled, which, anybody who watches football, who's played, who knows, quarterback sneak, that's exactly what that is. You're sled pushing, you're taking the ball, you're driving right into the line. And so that was especially interesting to see that they were willing to go with Russell Wilson on that play, considering that is what caused this whole injury and this whole quarterback controversy to begin all the way back in training camp. But nothing came of it except for a touchdown, and Russ was able to stay out there, keep things going. Najee Harris also was able to add a late game touchdown just for the fun of it. He hopped into the stands, he's having fun, he's blowing kisses. This Steelers team is starting to feel some momentum, and it almost felt like it had a little more almost personality and swagger with Russell Wilson back there, which I didn't expect to see because we all know how cringe Russ is, and it's tough to see sometimes. But it's whether it's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, we've seen a couple weeks now where this team has been very good at finishing games, and it's really nice to see this team this year against bad teams where we should be winning easily. The last couple of years, it would take a defensive stand or some last minute heroics by somebody to win this same type of game. That now this season we are going out there and we're winning them by putting up 32 points, 35 points, 37 points. We are scoring much more, and we're holding those teams down. It's not a last minute heroic type of win. And so that is promising to see that this team is a little more complete than it has been in years past. I'm not ready to jump on the Russell Wilson bandwagon because it's been 1 week. We see a lot of quarterback changes throughout the seasons, and oftentimes the first couple of weeks are very successful for those quarterback changes. It's just a bit of surprise almost for the defenses, and so we see more success early on, and then we start to see how it's truly going to be after that. And so that's what I'm waiting to see. Is I want to see if this continues, how does this team perform coming out of the bye week, which we have coming up in a couple weeks. So that will be very important to see. But this team just so explosive later in the game. It was very, very bad to watch up to about that 2-minute warning in the first half, down 15-6. This Pittsburgh Steelers team was able to score 31 unanswered points. and take themselves to a victory over the New York Jets 37-15. They did not allow the Jets to score another point after they hit that 15 mark. That was it. And so, very good game. You know, as I mentioned, Najee Harris, he was 21 carries for 102 yards, got a touchdown as well. Russell Wilson, he went 16 for 29, 264 passing yards, and those 2 passing touchdowns, which is very good to see. No interceptions as well, protecting the ball. He also added that 1 rushing touchdown, as I mentioned, and he had no turnovers, no fumbles, no, miscommunications or, bad snaps with the center or anything like that. And what was really nice to see was he was controlling this offense. We didn't see much out of Justin Fields other than he'd get the play, he goes in, he runs the play. Russell Wilson was going in there. He's so much better at reading the defenses, and you can tell because he's in there. He's making calls. He's making audibles. He's changing assignments. He's making the adjustments that need to be made in order to be successful, and it showed. This team was so much more fluid and calm on offense. It's tough because I do like Justin Fields. I do want to see him do well and be the future of this team, but he needs to take this opportunity and find a way to learn from Russell Wilson how to properly read a defense, both pre-snap and post-snap, so that he can be out there making these same audibles, making these same adjustments to lead himself to success in that way. And so I hope that does come for him as the weeks go by, as the season progresses, that he learns and grows and is still willing to take the torch and be the quarterback of this team of the future. It remains to be seen. Next week we know we're going to see Russell Wilson, barring some unforeseen injury or something like that. So we're going to ride this out and see how it goes. The receiving game this week, it was so much better because, Russ was getting the ball around more. He was getting more yards. George Pickens had 5 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown this week. Pat Freiermuth had 2 catches himself for 51 yards. Darnell Washington was involved. He caught the first pass from Russell Wilson and then 3 others for a total of 4 for 36 yards. And then, as I mentioned, Van Jefferson was involved. He got 2 catches for 15 yards, but he also had that touchdown in there. And so that is so good to see that there's a little bit more use of everybody in this offense when Russell Wilson is running it. We'll see what happens going forward. The defense this week, we had a lot of names that we don't usually call out this week for good play. Peyton Wilson, rookie, he led the team with 10 tackles this week. That was Patrick Queen last week. This week is Peyton Wilson. This middle linebacker team, they are lighting it up for the Steelers this season. Any given week, we don't know which one of them is going to be the one getting after it, but you watch Peyton Wilson play, and he is so explosive that I can't wait to see the 2 of them, Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson, playing for this team for the next few years, because this linebacker duo is going to get very scary for other teams. Only 1 sack again this week for the defense, and it was Larry Ogunjobi of all guys. And no Cam Hayward, no TJ Watt, no Alex Highsmith. Larry Ogunjobi got in there, and he got to Aaron Rodgers and took him down. So that was good to see that it's a little bit outside of the norm. And then, as I mentioned, Beanie Bishop Jr. out of nowhere gets 2 interceptions on Aaron Rodgers and absolutely was a catalyst for flipping the momentum and flipping the script on this Jets team and allowing the offense a few more opportunities and the ability to sort of get things rolling a little bit better. So excellent to see. It comes down to the same thing I say every week, you guys, and it's we won the turnover battle. We had over 100 rushing yards we had almost 150 between Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, as Jalen Warren had 44 himself as well. And we won that time of possession battle again. And those things are so key for this team, especially to be winning every single game. If they can keep doing this, they can keep winning those battles and keep running the ball with Najee Harris, letting him be the beast we know he can be. This team is going to be near unstoppable until we reach that gauntlet part of the season where we face just team after team that are top caliber, top rated teams that are going to be playing late into January. And so that is going to be key once we get there. But for now, it's fun watching this team beat up on the lesser teams that in years past, it would be a nail biter. It would be stressful watching down to the end of the game when they're playing a team that they shouldn't be letting hang around. Now, we're not letting them hang around. And next week, we're sitting at 5-2 currently. We get to go back into prime time in week 8 on Monday Night Football against the New York Football Giants. So the other New York team we're up against. And that is yet another game that they should win with ease. So we'll see if this offense can continue to grow the way they have. I still would love to see some touchdowns getting scored in the first quarter, maybe, even in the second quarter, earlier than before that 2-minute drill. But if we keep winning, then we keep winning. Sitting at 5-2, tied at the top of the AFC North, one of the top ranked teams in the AFC right now, and all signs are pointing towards the playoffs yet again. So here we go towards week 8 against the New York Giants, and then a bye week to follow that. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please hit that like and subscribe. Leave me a comment if there's anything you think I forgot or any comment you want to make. You don't like something I said, you want me to talk about something else, please let me know. I'm always happy to have those discussions. Other than that, please check out all our other videos. We will be having our top 5 and bottom 5 coming out this week, as well as our Thursday night predictions will be dropping either Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope everybody enjoys week 8 as we get rolling on Thursday night. So, peace.